Welcome, everyone. Jared Ambeau here, owner of the Ambeau Law Firm and founder of Trial Alliance. Welcome to the issue number 24. The topic for the day is natural talent is not enough. Well, what does that mean? So I was having an interesting conversation with my son today. So my son and I, we went to lunch with some friends, some attorney friends of mine, and it was an interesting group of guys talking about life and business and what we're doing. And afterwards, we left, and I told him, I said, what do you think about being around all those professionals, all these guys? He's 22. So what do you think about being around all those professionals? It's very interesting. And he said something about, when you see he was in the restaurant business before, and he says, well, yeah, it's kind of easy to notice a group of attorneys. If you get a table full of attorneys, it's kind of easy to ID them as attorneys. For him, at least, he said. Maybe it's because my dad's an attorney, I don't know, but it was really easy for me to tell. He usually comes along with some confidence and guys that are, that are kind, they're personable people, but confident in what they want. They order in a particular way, very clear, in their communication. Just some attributes that he thought he noticed in a lot of attorneys, And I tell him, I said, and I started talking about how that's kind of a natural thing, right? People who have those natural attributes are drawn to the practice of law, especially the guys that I know very well in the legal business, which are a bunch of trial attorneys, right? People who do a lot of work for human beings, not transaction guys or real estate guys or girls. I mean, men and women who do a bunch of trial work, right? And so that is a particular kind of personality for sure, right? It's the kind of personality people feel very comfortable talking to others, comfortable with themselves, confident. There's all these sort of, I could list the attributes of these, sort of alpha type personalities, that are attracted to that kind of, risk, those kinds of things. And we got to talking, and he said something about his girlfriend who is an artist. And I said, what's interesting about art is that for the longest time, my perception of an artist, someone who drew for a living, painted, was that you were born that way. You were born with an ability or a propensity to produce art. And that really what life was about was just discovering the artist in you already, right? Discovering your, sort of letting the artist out of you. Well, that sounds all cool, but the truth of it is that even in that realm, even in that artistic environment, that you can develop a skill at being much better, right? That you can come in with a set of facts or a set of skills, a set of sort of base skills that, yes, I'm pretty good at drawing, or yes, I'm pretty good at painting, or I'm good with colors and seeing colors. But you can start there and never get any training and never develop those skills and paint once every 6 months, and 30 years later be kind of the same person you were 30 years before, right? Or you can be the kind of person that goes to art school and studies art and studies color and studies composition and understands the use of particular medium or a particular kind of brush. Things that, quite frankly, I can't even make the list of things because I'm not an artist, right? I don't do any of these things. So I'm just guessing at what you learn. But my sense about it is that there's a skill you can pick up that makes you a better artist. And the reason is my son gave his girlfriend a bunch of artist type stuff, brushes and sketch pads and stuff for Christmas, and she's been doing a lot of that stuff. Now she's in art school too, which helps. But he says he's noticed just in the time they've been together how much better she's got at it. And I thought, wow, can you really improve that much? Well, what a goofy thing to say, right? I mean, I know that I started law school and that I learned a lot of information at law school related to the law, but I also got just better at being an advocate, right? I got better at being an advocate, being an attorney, and practicing advocacy, right? I've learned a lot of information about trial work, and then I've collected a ton of information about trial work because that's the kind of person I am. I've read a ton of books, 40, 50, 60 books about trial work. In fact, all the books I could find on all the parts of trial work, right? Complete books on trial work, or cross-examination, or direct examination, or experts. When I decided I was interested in forensic science work, I started doing that. And now I'm finishing a master's degree in forensic science, right? Or forensic DNA and serology. And so I'm learning a lot of information, but that doesn't tell the whole story. I have a natural propensity for scientific endeavor and for logical endeavor. I function well in that environment, but that doesn't tell the whole story. The truth is that as I've developed the skill and I've worked at it, I've gotten much better at it after doing the work. I've gotten much better at it after talking with other people and getting another point of view, or having attorneys come and watch me in trial and give me pointers and say, man, this really worked. Man, this didn't. Or that was really great. Or that wasn't great at all. You know, I've learned a lot about those things just by doing and experiencing those things, developing the skill, the craft of being a jury trial attorney, the craft of presenting a case before a jury. There is something about learning the craft, about being better at the craft. And the question then becomes, well, how do you do that? Right? There's a pretty famous singer out there who was apparently not really great when he started. A guy that was, received some pretty negative feedback in terms of not being that good. His voice didn't sound that great. His breath sucked. He wasn't a very good singer, and he realized he wasn't a good singer. And so he made it his life's mission to become a good singer. It's a true story. And so he took voice lessons with one of the best voice coaches what he could find in the area, and took them for years and got very serious about breath control and about phrasing and about enunciation and shape of the mouth and how to make those sounds and what to do and how to be a good singer. And he developed into a very clean and crisp singer, and a pretty successful one. His name is Frank Sinatra. And that's sort of a very quick synopsis of his story, his journey to becoming a skilled singer, a singer with an incredible skill set of producing music and singing. He wasn't born that way. He didn't have the gifts, and he taught himself the gifts. And so I told that story to my son, and I said, what do you think about painting? Could someone like me not have a lot of painting or drawing skill? Could I develop into an artist of any kind, of even a sufficient artist, like not world famous, but someone that could produce a picture or a painting or a drawing that was at least sufficient, so you could see it and think, oh, that's not too bad. And he took it a step further and said, no, with enough training and enough focus and enough learning and enough information and enough practice and enough skill development, you could make yourself into an exceptional artist. Like an exceptional artist. Well, that kind of surprised me. I mean, I'll take his word for it. His girlfriend's a very serious artist. So if that's true, then where's the edge? Like, where's the bound, right, of what I can do, right? Can I be the absolute best jury trial, criminal defense jury trial attorney ever? Ever? Well, I guess I can if I put enough effort and energy into it, if I learn the skill and develop those skills and constantly question and constantly get better, constantly give feedback, look for the information, practice, work on it, film myself doing this, film myself doing that, watch it, critique it, do it again, right? Take the swings, like keep working at it. And every time I do it, get better. Although I have a tremendous natural talent for that. I have a tremendous natural talent in terms of my confidence level, in terms of who I am as a person, in terms of my ability to communicate, my ability to be authentic in front of people, my ability to connect with individuals, my ability to connect with human beings in a way that's meaningful, and to be with another human being and talk to them. But taking all those things with no skill, and I'm a mediocre trial attorney. If I take those things and I add them to a tremendous effort to learn the practice, the skill, the craft of being a great criminal defense trial attorney, where does it stop? I mean, where's the edge? Where's the bound to that? And the truth of it is that I think it's boundless. I think I will just continue to get better. The more jury trials I do, the longer I live, the more I collect information, the more skill I get, and the more of the craft I learn, which is part of the reason that I've made this trial alliance business, is so that we can get attorneys together so that we can exchange information between each other. What do you do in this situation? What do I do in this situation? Does this sound good? Does this look good? What do you think about this? And so that we can all get better at this, right? Because if we continue to push ourselves in terms of skill, the natural sort of stuff we come in with becomes less and less important. And so don't be constrained by that natural ability. Don't be constrained about, I don't have the natural ability for X or for Y or for Z. Or I'm good at A and B, but man, C and D, I'm a little iffy on that because I don't have the natural skill. Well, then teach yourself that, or learn from others, or seek the information, get the hits, take the at-bats, step up to the plate over and over and over and over and over again until you develop the craft that is being a wonderful jury trial attorney, or a wonderful car salesman, or a wonderful real estate salesman, Whatever it is you do, a great hairdresser, the best ever hair cutter, whatever they're called these days. Do whatever it is, you do, and do it phenomenally. Learn the craft, learn the skill, paint your masterpiece every day. Paint your next masterpiece tomorrow. Do not rely on the fact or use the fact that you may not have some natural skill to turn you off to something that you may love. Because the truth of it is that for me, it's learning that skill and developing that craft that has made me an exceptional jury trial attorney, natural ability or not. And that's the message today. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. I'll see you all tomorrow.